IPMNation.com.
Live from the Outpost Studios in Columbus, Ohio, you're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. Brought to you by IPMNation.com. Get ready for the gong heard round the world.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All Natural Being. Warning, All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
An animal. Good evening. I can get this all situated. It should be a good evening. We'll see. Good evening and welcome to All Natural Being. Thank you for stopping by. Believe it or not, now the 300, I know, hard to believe, right? The 366th episode of the #1 rated show here on IPM Nation. And, of course, I can't say IPM Nation without thanking Matt, Connerton, and Jenny for all that they do to keep us up and going. But the #1 rated show here on IPMNation.com, you're in to All Natural Being. And as you just heard seconds ago, the gong heard round the world, broadcast as it happens, thanks to our friends at Wirecast, Telestream's Wirecast, right here on IPM Nation. And now multicast live on Facebook, over on allnaturalbeing.com, and the new Brian Brawdy app. We're trying a little something different here. We're not going to, let me just get this to go right there. You go. We're not going directly live to YouTube now so that we can say, oh, may stop on over and see us at the new YouTube, the Transitional Radio YouTube page. But however you come to hang with us, we're always pumped to have you live from the Transitional Radio uplink here in Columbus, Ohio, where we're supposed to have 7 feet of snow tomorrow, I'm told. In any event, there'll be rebroadcasts, even no matter how much snow falls, on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, all the other usual suspects. Greetings wherever you are here in the Garden of the Mortals, and what a great gig it is, because ultimately it's up to you and me. No one else gets a vote. Winning or whining, it's on us. Life, it's our labyrinth, our shot at running the table as you and I see fit. As I say every evening, the hell with your critics. It's time to ignore them and own your primal scream, not placing it on the back burner, the junk drawer, bottom of the closet, but front and center where it belongs. That's why we're here, to be your friendly blue force, as I like to call it. Always putting your heart's highest priority, top of the list, where it belongs, where it naturally belongs. Reinstalling and reinstating the true wit, wisdom, and wallop of your inner whisper. Because think about it. You decide when it's your end. Rebooting your robust, finding your ferocious, all in time to out-brutal the brutal. That can be the cut and shuffle that fate deals you on a daily basis, and to bring your own bold once and for all. But before we hit it this evening, a very special Wednesday. Hello to my friends here in the United States and Canada, Mexico, the UK, those in Ecuador, good friends there, China, the Philippines, Brazil, Australia, India, Germany, Italy, France, Nigeria, Turkey, Japan, Singapore, Thailand, Belgium, Sweden, Israel, South Africa, Egypt, Puerto Rico, Kenya, the Netherlands, Colombia, Greece, Ireland, Peru, Poland. To those joining us from all over the globe, it's an honor. And it truly is great to have you with us. I'm fired up this evening to be driving your bandwagon. And if you're out and about on the go, to be your virtual hitchhiker. I have to tell you, in addition to being your biggest fan, in addition to being avidly you, I love the concept of riding shotgun wherever you're headed. But before we jump into tonight's show, let me ask you, as I do every evening, why would you let anyone hijack your cognition? Why would you let them play you like a sock puppet? The days of needlessly torturing yourself by being someone else's tool, well, they're over. It's time to take life into your own hands. What do you want out of this run in the labyrinth? What are we waiting for? Here's your opportunity to mortal up. So what do you say? Let's go kick in some doors. And a friend of mine asked me the other day, she says, why do you always say kick in some doors? I guess it's just left over from law enforcement, right? But you have to do what you can, rising to the challenge, whatever fate's going to throw at you, and go, nope, I'm here for the party. I'm here for the run at it. I'm here to unleash my all-natural being. I'm here to unleash my personal magnetism, if you will. Speaking of personal magnetism, tonight is Wednesday, so you know that means Leeward Wednesdays. My good friend Lee Rowley from Sales Copy Academy, I should mention, also the official time sponsor here at All Natural Being, and the official time sponsor of the 81 to Win coming up the beginning part of January. I wasn't going to be like the beginning part of January. Sometime in February, we hope, Valentine's Day, we'll have just beaten the record by dinner time on Valentine's Day of 2019. The good folks at Sales Copy Academy are the official sponsor of that time, which is a big deal. You'd be surprised how many hoops you have to jump through to prove that you actually beat the record. So the official time sponsor is a huge, huge deal. But he'll be joining us tonight for Leeward's Wednesdays. Always a great time whenever Lee gets to hang out. Matter of fact, I got a couple texts today going, oh, we love it when Lee is on, as do I. So thank you very much for that. Wow, he's calling in already. Let's see. I hope that's him. Let's see. Good evening. Welcome to All Natural Being. Who's this?
Well, this is Squirrely Joe from Squirrely Joe's Grab and Get.
Grab and Get. I like that.
If we got it, you better grab it. If we ain't got it, you better just get.
You just better get. Well, my friend, another thing that people comment me on, they say, why do you call them stop and robs? Right? Go grab it and get. We go, what do you call it? Stop and robs. So, the old joke, why do you rob banks? Well, that's where all the money is. Well, we used to call them stop and robs because they're well lit at night. The bad guys can get in. They can hold up the little gas station mini mart. Oh, let me say, Lee, because I get in trouble all the time for mansplaining, bad guys or bad girls, right? Because there's some armed female felons out there running around, knocking over liquor stores and whatnot. So, right, sure. Stop and robs are just like, what you call it, grab and get? That's fantastic. All right, Lee, good evening, sir. How are you?
I am fantastic. How about you?
Well, I'm doing great, and I thank you so much for your time today. I wish we could just bring a camera, turn it on, and then have people see live you interacting in a Panera. Right? When we sit there and we talk like that, I think that I sound like Costanza in the old Seinfeld episodes. Ooh, that could be a show because you were most certainly on today. But let me do this. Go ahead.
There's nothing stopping us from doing that. I don't know if anybody would watch it, but
Well, we'd get all the cookies and you drink coffee. I drink Diet Coke, tomato.
Yeah.
Let me say hello quickly to John and to Jamie. Jamie, thank you so very much for joining us. Matt, thank you again for not only joining us here, but everything you do over at IPMNation.com. Thank you very much. And to Jenny as well. Hello, Mary. Nice to see you. Wayne, thank you. Thank you for everything you do. Marcellus, good evening. Henry, good evening. Again, Jamie and Rita, thank you so very much. David Ray Bowman, thank you, my friend, for joining us. We're talking about I better not say that out loud in case he hasn't told anyone. So forget everything I was going to say about climbing Mount Rainier next year with David Ray Bowman. In case someone's listening that he hasn't told to, right? In case he hasn't gotten permission yet. I better not say anything more than that. So, but thank you so much for joining us here at All Natural Being. So, Lee, what are you up to? What are we going to talk? I really am excited about Wednesdays and Leeward Wednesdays because people say, well, what if we don't write copy? Well, Sales Copy Academy isn't just about writing copy. It's about experiencing the moment you're in, the mouth-watering moment that you're in. It's like eating real fruit as opposed to plastic fruit. So I think it's great whenever we have a chance to hang out and talk, because a lot of sales copy is about experiencing, magnify the moment, if you will, right? Experiencing everything that this particular now has to offer. What do you think?
Absolutely. We keep talking about the word visceral.
Ooh, I like that word.
That's something I've been really digging into a lot, because that to me is what this is all about, is being able to connect on such a visceral level, to understand beyond the categories and the labels and the limitations that we place on ourselves and on other people. To be able to dig past that and truly understand what it's like to connect again.
And that's what I think I'm always fascinated about you when I listen to how you do it, because it's all about that. It's very metaphysical. I don't want to get all, hocus pocus, and I don't want to get all weepy about it, or what am I thinking, like gooey about it. But it really is a metaphysical experience for you, because, you're adopting whatever the particular thing is you're writing about, you're adopting an eye-level position of that particular thing. And I'm fascinated by it.
Well, it's all about the curiosity, and and speaking of curiosity, I was reading something on Facebook the other day that you're doing this 81 to win thing.
Yeah, well, we were talking about the 81 to win, and we talked about it today at lunch. I can't wait, because we're not even sure I do this good, but what I do know is I need to take, and I thank you again for it, the Sales Copy Academy class, so that I can dial in all the different things that are going to go around that. And I want to mention, David says, I don't need permission. I wear the pants in this family, and I have Cammie's permission to say that. It's funny, David, because, people, we talk about the 81 to win, and Lisa today, has Ashley signed off on any of this? Right? Is she up for you staying, is she into the idea of you staying up for 81 hours? I think she'll just be tickled I'm out of the house for 81 hours, to be honest with you. But, I'll have to get her permission as well. So, yes, we're going to do the 81 to win, the Guinness World Record attempt for the longest live call-in radio show. And I'm hoping to end up on Valentine's Day of 2019, which will be the 2-year anniversary of my last brain surgery, or at least the last one I've had. Yeah, so that's what I'm into, or up to.
Cool. This is something that you're definitely going to want to get as many eyeballs on as possible, right? I mean, you're doing more than a stunt. You're creating a movement here, I think.
Well, thank you, brother. I hope what the movement is that people say, look, I was thinking today that, when it comes to your wit's end, you decide when your wits come to an end, right? You decide what's too much for you, and I'm simply saying that as a part of bouncing back, I decided to live, as cliche as it sounds, to live every moment like it's my last. And one of the things, it's not like a bucket list, I wouldn't say, but one of the things, this is all a lie. It's not even a bucket list, Lee. You know what it is, really? Those people over at the local Christian radio station that wouldn't teach me how to work a soundboard. So this is my attempt at striking back and going, okay, you can't even teach me how to, kumbaya for everybody but Brian. So I set out to exact my revenge by getting the world's record for doing their job. So it's really more of a counterpunch than anything else. At least that's the way I view it.
I think the just having the opportunity to thumb your nose at someone else, is good enough motivation. Works for me. I mean, the heck, I'm not going to be nominated for sainthood here. I'm not. We're not going for that.
Not at all.
But but here's the thing, though, with what you're doing here, and the reason that I think this is such a movement, Brian, is because, like, after everything that that you've been through with this, and that your body's been through with this, you're still taking this head on. And, I think what we're talking about here is having other people look at that and go, what the hell's my excuse?
You know what, Lee? I think that's a very valid point. I think it's a very valid point.
So in doing this, you may be unseating other people from the obstacles that they've been stuck in or clinging to, as the case may be, and precipitating them doing great things just by showing them, like, look, this is what can be done.
Well, that's why I think the brain tumor for me, Lee, has been such a blessing. I ask people all the time, heaven forbid, I hope you never have to go through. Anyone listening, I hope you never have to go through. Good evening, Jenny. Thank you so very much. Hello to you as well for joining us here at All Natural Being. Hope you never have to go through the brain surgery. Or, to be honest with you, I was medicated. I was knocked out, so it wasn't like it was all that tough, right? It's just 24 hours I'll never get back. But the aftermath, all the other things that went down. But I ask people, aside from a physical brain tumor, what are the philosophical brain tumors that we have? What are the philosophical knots in our potential that cause us not to get into the flow of life? Which again, Lee, is I think what you do as a great a copywriter, you get into the flow of the moment. So my question to folks is, look, I had a physical brain tumor, that's true, but the biggest hurdle was the philosophical brain tumor, right? Was it something I was going to let defeat me? Was I going to sit around and complain about the pain, complain about the nausea, complain about they call it Parkinsonism, the shakes, complain about the ringing in my ears? But even more than that, Lee, it was the philosophical heartache that I had around the whole thing. Was I going to allow it? And Marcellus is here in the thread now, so I can use the term. Was I going to allow fate to chop block me? Or was I going to bring the counterpunch? And for me, one of the counterpunches is this 81 to win.
Absolutely.
So what do you think? Like, I'm so excited to be in the Sales Copy Academy. And what's the first thing that I should focus on? You kind of know the story as good as anyone now as to why I wanted to do this. I mean, I can't build a whole movement going, I just want to put the screws to a local radio station, that has probably 51 listeners. Was that too picky? Was that too crass?
I think it works.
Okay, good.
So
what should it be?
When we got together for our first session, I gave you some questions to answer, and you put a lot of thought into defining who to you your audience is, and what how the interplay with what they're going to get out of what you're doing.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
So that's kind of the surface level. That's where I start with everybody, and then what we're going to be doing next time is diving in deeper and challenging all of these assumptions. Okay, so we're really going to go in deep and do I hate to use the word term spying, but it's pretty much how it is. We're going to go into these social media channels. We're going to find out if what your audience's wants and needs really are match up with what they are to you. Because I said before, when we're talking to an audience or an avatar, as they call it in the industry, we tend to be just looking in the own mirror or in the mirror and saying, well, what would I want to hear, or how would I feel if I were there in their shoes?
Right.
So we're doing a lot of guessing. But in order to really have this resonate with the people that you want to reach, we're going to dive in there and find out what they're really thinking about. We're going to find out what they're really missing, what they're not getting elsewhere, that you can really provide to them in a way that only you can. Because, you're a unique person, Brian. I got to tell you, I don't know if I've ever mentioned that to you, but
I'm special, all right. I'm unique. Okay, Lee, let me say hello. And this just dawned on me. Marcia, thank you for joining us. Here's my only friend that has, you ready for her initials? MMA.
Oh, nice.
MMA, look at that. I love that. So now I'll be able to say, hey, MMA, thank you for joining us. Candace, I know, I laugh at myself all the time. Thank you very much. Jamie, don't forget, I want to show Jamie. Hang on, Snoopy is right here in the studio with me. Never leaves, just to remind me that there is really a little bit of truth in advertising, that you can't spell Brian without the I in idiot. Right, so I just leave that there as a visual reminder. But you know what, Lee? What you were just saying made me think. Like today, I put something up a little earlier on Facebook that said, it shouldn't be a stretch. For God's sakes, it's not a journey to get to the core of who you ultimately are. Now, the marketplace wants to, they want to turn cognition into some form of consumerism, right? Like in order to be able to think, profoundly about yourself, you have to have all these baubles, you have to have all these widgets, you have to have all this bling. But it shouldn't be a stretch for you to put your heart's highest priority top of your list. It shouldn't be a journey. I get so, don't you want your higher self? No. I want my lowest self. I want the lowest self. I want to be able to connect to the moment. And anything that gives me a 5-mile view, my higher self. Oh, please. Right? Or they you should go through and do some guided meditation. I go, great. I love that idea. So what do I use in a guided meditation? Sound of my own heartbeat. They go, Bri, you should come to this class and give us like a third of your income for the month, and we'll give you a mantra. And I said, then only a third. I was prepared to give you half so you could give me some term with more consonants than vowels in it. Or you could just have your mantra be the words thank you. Right? You could just have a sense of gratitude. Now, it doesn't have to be targeted. As I say all the time, big bang or big breath, Garden of Eden, savannas of Africa, whatever you believe in, it's like thankfulness without a target. It's just an overwhelming sense of gratitude. You could use that to be your mantra. Henry says, for many, it is a very hard and long journey. And well, I hope that's not the case, Henry, because I begin to believe that if it's a hard and long journey, once you finally get there, you'll realize it didn't have to be this hard, didn't have to be this long. I had the ability in any particular moment of time to say, I had it with me all along. Everything I ever needed, I always had. So that's when I say, when we look to all these things, stay in this moment. Stay in this now, as opposed to constantly being pulled outside of it for some, for a battle. That really the best battles are the ones that end and begin in your own mind. That's what I mean about staying right here in this particular moment. You don't need a higher self. You don't need a more spiritual aspect. You don't need a more, maybe you could use a more grounded. I like that idea, right, Lee? Being grounded in this particular moment in all of time. Mm-hmm. What say you, Lee?
Yeah, grounded, present. You're right. I mean, why do we feel like we need to evolve, into something that we're never going to reach? There's growth, and then there's trying to reach some unattainable level of, enlightenment or awakenedness. I remember, I used to have some dealings with people in the metaphysical community, and I disagreed with one of them about a particular thing because, you know how I personally believe, but we were disagreeing, and he says, "Well, you're wrong, but you don't see it because you're not evolved enough yet." And wait a minute,
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Why are we making this distinctions of how evolved you are or I am? Obviously, if
Sure.
that's that important to you, then you've got bigger problems than whether I'm right or wrong.
Well, I'm at the evolutionary stage of a garden slug. Apparently. So let me just say this in answering to Candace. Candace says she likes the idea of a never-ending journey, and all I'm suggesting is it might very well be a never-ending journey of you dovetailing with the now, with this particular moment in all of time. Jamie says, life is easy and painless, said no one ever. Well, it's easy. In my estimation, it's easy if you just don't let the painless poke you. Right? If you're like, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a battle. What if circumstances, what if our hurdles really are here to teach our heads a lesson? So it may not be easy, but it's painless if you come into the now and go, I'm going to learn in this particular moment in all of time. I have no preconceived notions, but what I can tell you is that because I'm comfortable in my own skin, I'm not going to let you get underneath it. Right? I'm not going to let fate get underneath my skin because I'm comfortable in my own. And I think some of the pain, as Jamie says, that life is easy and painless, said no one ever. Some of the pain is because we constantly want the upvote. We constantly want the committee vote, right? We want the marketplace to vote on how happy we either are or are not. And I'm just saying, ignore it. Mortal up. Dovetail with this particular moment in all of time. Lee, what say you?
I mean, it's no secret that no one else is responsible for my happiness.
Sure.
No one else is responsible for your happiness. I mean, and unless they're going to become responsible for it in a very real and legally binding sense, then there's no reason to care what their opinion is. I mean, really, it's we're investing energy into them that they're not investing back into us.
Right.
I mean, what point would there be of doing that?
Well, if it's not reciprocated, then I would say there would be no point in it at all if we're not here to help each other, if we're not here to dovetail. But here's the thing, Lee. In this particular moment, if that individual walks into or out of your life, I've developed this really strong sense of thinking that everything is going to unfold in this particular moment in all of time, no matter what I do. Well, I could evolve to be whatever, or I could stay at my current level of a rainforest newt. Right? The moment's going to unfold. Is the way it's going to unfold. Mary says, "You're not evolved enough yet?" Well, let's hope not. Thank you so much, Mary. Oh, that was a question. I'm sorry. I thought Mary was patting me on the back. What a condescending, prideful thing to say for someone to another human being. I know, right? Oh, I see. She's talking. I'm sorry, Lee. That was a comment of someone saying to you. I said, "Yeah, especially if you know Lee." But it didn't affect you. I mean, do you think you let it in? Was it something you just kind of laughed and went, "All right, needle nits. I'm out of here."
Oh, I spent days crying about it.
Oh, as would I.
Yeah.
Right? Henry says, the concept of the now is difficult for most because they have learned all their lives to live for the future. Henry, I absolutely agree. I need Facebook. Mark, if you're listening, I know you watch. Mark Zuckerberg, if you're listening, I need a like times 10 button, right? Where I could just like something and go like times 10. It's a little bit of the Grant Cardone in me, right? But the 10 times X, because he's absolutely right. And in the closing minutes, Lee, before we get ready to toss it over to my good friend Wayne, getting ready for Thinking Re-Envisioned, I think Henry's absolutely right. We've learned all of our lives to live for the future because people want our cognition. They want a sense of consumerism. They want us to believe that we're fragile. They want us to believe that we're timid. They want us to believe that it'll be a hard journey. They want us to believe it'll be it's easier for you to bend over and touch your toes than it would be for you to stretch yourself and find your own heart. And that's just baloney. You thought I was going to cuss there, didn't you? Right? So for your closing thought before we get ready to toss it back to Wayne, do you know what I mean? It can't be that difficult to be who you truly are. And if it was, then why can you breathe without any assistance? Why does your heart beat without any assistance? Why do your brain waves fire without any assistance? Any, right? Conscious manipulation on your part. Well, why can't your life be the same way? It's good enough for your heart, your kidneys, your liver, your stomach, your brain. Why can't it be good enough for you is the question that I'll leave you with that simple little question. What do you think, Lee?
I think that we've just been programmed from such an early age to believe that that we can draw our self-worth from anywhere but ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something that's almost conditioned from birth because that's the kind of dependence and the kind of I want to say non-autonomy.
Right.
That's not a word, but that's what I'm coming up with right now. Yeah, non-autonomy.
You're a writer, brother. You're a writer.
The same thing as dependence, right? Right. Tomato, gorilla, whatever.
Right, that's what you do for a living is you make up words. You can make up any word you want. You're Lee Rowley. Make up any word you want.
Yeah, but we do that because that's how we're controlled.
Right.
Is by being instilled with that from birth.
Right.
But it's a lucky few of us who manage to peek behind the curtain and at least endeavor to escape it.
I would absolutely agree. Lee, thank you so much, my friend. You know now that because we are the run-up show, I'm like the opening act, if you will, for Henry, Noel, and Thinking Re-Envisioned. So now Wayne's like, oh, you got to hit that hard break. You got to hit that call time. So if I would, let me thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you for today. Thank you for your brilliance, as always. And I'll look forward to catching up with you very soon. Lee Rowley from Sales Copy Academy. Make sure you check him out. I'll put his link up in the thread. Or Lee, would you, when you jump off, because I got all these slides and buttons to figure out to hit my call time, would you mind putting the post right in, a link right in the post so everyone knows how to get a hold of you?
Absolutely.
Sounds good. All right, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, man. Bye now. All right, so now Wayne's looking at his watch going, I got two sets of eyeballs looking at me. He's going, there's only 47 seconds left. Brian's not going to hit it. There's going to be no way he can do this. Oh, yeah? Okay, so let's see. We can take a call in the final 30 seconds. We could do that. Maybe we'll just go ahead and get out of here. Thank you so very much for joining us here at All Natural Being. We will see you back here tomorrow night. Take that, Wayne, with your 2 sets of eyeballs.
IPMNation.com.